Greetings and welcome. 3, 2. Greetings and welcome to Duane's Astrophotography. This episode is going to cover Pixinsight production of NGC 2158. Let's get Pixinsight open. I have already stacked these and ready for use. It's an LRGB image. We're going to do Pixinsight as well as Photoshop for this endeavor. Let's stretch these out, take a look at them. Looks like the framing wasn't ideal. Some black area at the top, but we'll be able to crop that out without an issue. First thing we're going to do, very important, is to align these. We're going to use star alignment. Let's head up here to star alignment. It's absolutely the first thing I do. Allows a less headache. Reference image is going to be our loom. And we'll drop the others in no specific order. Like so. You hit the red or the blue circle. And we're going to look to see 0 failed in the counting of these at the bottom right there. That's the important thing to see. Looks like we're good there. We'll close this tool. And we're going to move these now. We have our RGB here. So we're going to simply come in here with 1 and rename it as loom, and we'll rename all of these actually. So to rename them, we go over in here, hit the right button, do identifier, and rename. So this is 4, which would be blue. Three, green. They're just in order with RGB. Did that when I stacked them, so it's important to remember using Deep Sky Stacker which autosave is with which group of subs. All right, go to identifier, the last one here, which is red. Let's see if we got these all correct. Let's stretch all these out, take a look at them one more time. We're going to do star alignment now. And actually cut. Okay. These look pretty good. I think what I'm going to do is to pull the stars now. I'm not going to use any background modelizations because it looks like we have plenty of contrast. You see these darker areas right in here, like right in here, and it's really cut pretty well. So normally we would come up here and do background modelization and automatic background extractor, and we would say image correction, go to maybe subtraction, discard background model, and come over here and hit it. I just want to show you what this does, and then I'm going to show you why I'm not using it for this. Stretch it back out again, Close the tool. Let's look at both of these now. It looks like to me that this has created so much contrast here. And if you look at it here, it begins to look kind of fakey. And later we can bring this out anyway. So I'm going to choose this, and maybe what we'll do, let's hit this one time here. Let's head up to background modelization and automatic background extractor, and let's come up here and let's do a little bit of difference here. Tolerance. So we take this maybe to 2, and we'll do a subtraction still. Let's try that. Might be better to do this if we do it this way. It's 6 of one and a half dozen of the other. It does seem to make a definite difference here. You see, if you look, like the first thing I see is this area right in here, this sort of line of darkness is more prominent over here. This whole area right in here is where to look to see the difference. This looks a little fuzzier, but we could also eliminate this in Photoshop using dehaze. So I think rather than do it here, maybe on the loom only. So I'm going to go ahead and make the decision to use this on loom only, to give it really a lot of cutout look for loom only. So this loom we're going to throw away, and we're not going to erase anything. Never erase anything. We're just going to put it up here. Okay, that takes care of that. We now have our RGB. There's R and G and B and loom. So let's see, we've done our star alignment. Let's remove the stars now next. Process, all processes, star exterminator. Just leave these all checked. My hard work with CUDA and getting the drive switched over using NVIDIA, you know, to not use my normal drive, but to use my advanced drive in my computer has been eliminated nicely by Pixinsight, apparently, as they did an update. So that's kind of a pain, because that was a little bit difficult to make happen with local environment changes, local environment variables, but I'll end up probably doing that again, because this is fairly slow. This has been as fast as 13 seconds. It's about half the speed now. Okay, here's our stars, here's our nebula. Looking pretty good. This is looking pretty good. And in fact, before we decide to move on here with this star exterminator, I'm going to make sure, let's see if this will stretch. Sometimes if we go to script and easy processing suite and soft stretch, sometimes we can't get this to stretch. Oh, it's going to stretch now for us. Very nice. So I think we're good. Let's go up here all the way. For brightest, I kind of maybe liked it where they had it. Let's take it down a little. This looks really pretty good to me. So let's soft stretch this one. Okay, nice. This back in here. All right, let's take the stars out here. If ever you click that like that, head right up here, and that's how you get it back again. I hit the left button by mistake. Okay, let's take the stars out right here. Process, all processes, and star exterminator. Work on the blue, and then we'll work on the red last. It's not too bad. Let's just put it down here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to open up Photoshop and do some manipulation, but first we're going to save these off. In Pixinsight, you always have to save what you're using. It doesn't save it automatically, so we go save as blue, and we'll just say 2 PS for 2 Photoshop tops. Do OK, and always use 32 bits when you're before you stretch. Let's head up here and do the same thing with this. Follow through here. Okay. Anytime it says insufficient data storage, just ignore that. It seems to work okay without it. That message is erroneous for some reason. Not sure what it's even telling me. Again, we use 32 bits. Everything else is the same. Okay. All right. Take these down. Now we're done with these, so let's put them over here so we're not confused. We do the same thing up here with Loom. Loom has already been stretched, and we can tell that by clicking here. And we see that the picture doesn't change. Okay, so let's keep Loom up there. And let's open these stars up. Blue, green, and red. And let's spend some time saving these off. Again, 32 bits because we have not stretched them yet. Do this for every one. Here we go. Perfect. Last one. Save as. All right. 32 bits, yes. Okay. Let's now go into these. Let's leave Loom over there because we are going to use that one. It's already stretched. But the rest of these are going to go over here in our holding area. Let's open Photoshop. And we're going to first stretch the stars. Stars are very important. Now, when I'm thinking here, my philosophy in this is, just share that here. I want my stars not to look like little white dots. I want them to look like what we call the airy disk, which is deceiving because the more your exposure, you bring out that disk. It's very large and very small, and you can kind of manipulate that. So that's what we're going to do. Here's our files, TOPS files, and we'll open all those up. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep that airy disk at all costs. We're not going to try to remove the background area around the stars so much. So you look right here, you can see that there is sort of a white color and dark black colors here. For those of you who can see that on your YouTube screen, I'm not sure if that's that visible, but we're going to first thing here go up to, before we ever do any mode selection here. Normally we select mode immediately. Well, we're going to go up here to adjustments and we're going to hit levels, and we're going to park this level over one movement, just like that. Now, I don't know if you can see that on YouTube, but see, look there, and now look there. See how it removes some of that light area. So we're going to do that with every one of these. First thing. Image, adjustments, and levels. We go to 1 here. Okay. Hit OK. And go to green, do the same thing. We'll just follow through here. Image, adjustments, levels. A 1. And image, adjustments, levels. And it looks like We've already done that one. Sorry about that. Let's see what we've done. Loom. There's blue, green, red, and loom. Looks like we have not done loom yet. Image adjustments levels. And we'll make that down to scoot in like all the rest of them. Let's try that. Okay, now we're going to come up here and do image, mode, and 16 bits per channel. You see what this has done is it's sort of shrunk the lightness from being too far around the stars. Let's see, we're kind of clipping them. Let's see what happens if we do an equalized histogram here. Let's take a close look here. Let's just see what that looks like. Let's head up to 150 here. Try to see it pretty large. Now, what we're doing, see, we don't want to see dots. And if I'm seeing that well now, it is, the stars are very contained as circles, which is going to look pretty nice, but yet they don't look quite like little dots either. You can see some thickness with the stars. And after all, stars are little suns. So let's keep that like that. Now let's go ahead and do all of them the same way. Image, mode, 16 bits. Go up here to equalize histogram. Okay. And the same thing here for the next one. Mode, 16 bits. Equalize histogram. Mode and 16 bits. Sorry about that. And we go to equalize histogram. Now we have all these similar, kind of tamed is what I would say. Very nice. Okay. So let's head up here to the original size here. Take one last look at all of them, see how they line up. Now you notice here we have these two stars at the top, and they're going to be gone because they're not in that image, because we have a frame anomaly in the data. So that, be that as it may, it would have been nice to have these stars here, but if we keep them in, we'll see that line of the others. So it's unfortunate, but we'll have to crop that out at the end of things here. Okay, let's save these off. We're going to save them as stretched, or just S for short. Go through the drill here for all of these. And then we will stretch the rest of the RGB nebula. And we have to do that also in Photoshop because of that error message I'm getting. Not sure what that means. Again, if anybody knows what that means, let me know. If there's any way I can fix it, I would like to fix that. Find out what I'm doing to cause that anomaly. All right, as processing videos go, pretty boring here, but we've moved pretty far in a few minutes. All right, let's go on to Pixinsight again here. Now remember, this loom has been stretched, okay, but we have not stretched these guys right here. This is our loom that's already been stretched. Alrighty, let's put this together. Open. Here they are. All right, now let's stretch these. Let's start with red here. And we're going to go to adjustments, 16 bits per channel. and we're going to hit exposure and gamma on this one. And if we did the equalized histogram here and just take a look at it, sometimes this is a pretty good stretch. It's not bad, but I don't like it so much. It seems like it's kind of blown out these pretty badly, actually. So we're going to go with exposure and gamma and try to do that ourselves here. It takes a little longer, but here we go. Do not pull this down so there's a line here. We always want to keep the curve there like that. I'm starting to see something appearing here. Let's do a couple of stretches right in the center. And let's do a levels. You see all this is noise out here, so we're just going to back it over right to the point that the cusp is, right there. And let's hit it a couple other times. Pull it down a little from the top. And pull it back from the bottom. Maybe 3 stretches. Another big stretch from the center. Again, we don't want that line. Back it up. Levels. Again, we'll pull this back because it's just noise. Some more curves. I'm going to kind of play with this so we're not blowing the center out so much. Something like that. I think that's probably good. Let's head in here now to levels. See how we can get some darkness around in space there. Maybe something like that I like. That looks pretty good. Let's save this off. I'm going to keep this in TIFF format. Now let's stretch, so we're going to call it S, and we move right on to the next game here. We did red. Let's go with green. Same drill. Again, let's look at the histogram, equalize histogram, to kind of see what we have here. And it's way, all we need are the stretched ones. Green stretch, red stretch. Okay, that's it. Open. All right, here are our stretched images. Not too impressive, but they'll come out. We'll draw those out in Photoshop at the end when we mix our do our LRGB combination, and then head to Photoshop again. Here's our loom, which has turned out pretty well because we're able to use our stretch tool in Pixinsight. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Let's just try to combine these, just directly see what we get. Process, all processes, LRGB combination right there. All right, let's put our loom in L, match them up here. Make sure they're right. L, R, G, and B. That's correct. Hit the button. Let's see what we get. Okay. And seeing just a bit of a strange blue aura there. Doesn't look quite right. Maybe we can do some selective color here. I do like the way this is looking. Very detailed but not blown out. Just like our colors are not very prominent. Alright, let's see what we can do with this. Let's save this off. We've got this line here again where we didn't get any matchup of frames, but we'll crop that at the end. Alright, let's resave this. Save as. This is our first LRGB image. So we'll get rid of that image 24 stuff and do our LRGB to keep track of this. Let's call it LRGB1. Just like that. And now we're going to do 16 bits because we have stretched it. We don't want to do 32 bits again. We want to go to 16 bits. Okay, we head on over to Photoshop again. Let's close these out. Open. LRGB1. Opened. Okay, there's our image. It's like these are quite noisy there. We maybe could have done a little bit of noise reduction, but we'll do it at the end here. Let's see what we can get out of this. Let's do adjustments here, and we'll go to, sorry, we're going to go to filter, camera raw filter initially. I do like the way this nebula is looking right in here. Alright, come down here to texture, clarity, and dehaze. We're going to hit the dehaze tool first, which really tends to amplify the contrasts and colors really nice. One of my favorite tools is this one. Let's not go too far. It's tempting to go all the way, but let's move it out just a little because we are missing some detail when we do that. So let's keep it maybe at 60, 70, something like that. And let's see what clarity will do for us. Maybe down at minus, +3, +5. And texture. Now texture is going to make it really sort of fakey looking, but a little of it goes a long way. So maybe we'll head up to about 11 on texture, maybe 7 on texture. Let's see what the saturation is doing here. See, we turn the saturation up and we're getting a really big blown out blue section there. So we don't want to do that. So I'm going to use that as my judge here. I'm looking right there to turn this up or down so that it looks better. We don't want too much blue there. Maybe just a little, something like that. Getting a little blue up in here too. It's kind of interesting. So I'm going to keep it there at maybe at 15. Yeah, let's try about 8. That looks better because I'm getting a lot of contrasted. We're not just painting the whole thing in blue. Kind of interesting looking. I'm not liking this at all, but I think we can get rid of that. Let's say OK for this. Okay, what we're going to do now, we're going to try to see if we can get rid of some of this sort of purplish glow. We're going to do a filter, sorry, a layer, a new adjustment layer, and we'll do a hue saturation, and say OK here. And we're going to come over here and we're going to pick magentas and see. Let's watch right in here. Let's see if we have any difference going on there at all. See that? When we turn it up, see how I'm getting rid of that completely. So we don't want to go all the way, maybe something down about 76-ish. Kind of, see, that looks fake, so we don't want it to look fakey colored. Something like that gives us a little bit of information without, being nuts with it. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right, let's do some noise reduction here, Topaz noise reduction. So we go to filter, and it's going to do that to me again, and I'm not sure why, but it looks like we're not going to be able to use it for some reason. Okay, let's go now to image adjustments, and let's go to levels, and let's see if we can do anything here that makes any sense at all. Looks like that's going to not do a thing for us. Image adjustments and curves. Let's see what our curves can do. Oh, okay. Here's the problem. We need our plugins. We need our view, window rather, and layers. And we need to select. See, we need to select background. View layers, select background. So let's go back here to image adjustments and levels. See, we got some noise in there, right there. Let's get rid of that. Pull it over just a bit. Something like that. Say OK. And now we're going to come into image adjustments and curves and do a little bit of manipulation here. Kind of brighten it up just a tad. Maybe just a bit of an S curve. Maybe something like that looks pretty good. Yeah, I like that. A lot of detail showing up there now. We're starting to see a lot of detail down in here. Okay, let's go into camera raw filter. We have to be careful with camera raw filter at all costs. We don't want to. We're going to go to adjustments rather now as a next one, and we're going to also be careful with this selective color, and we're going to go in here and just see if we can do some changes here. All right, we're going to manipulate the greens here. Drop cyan to about minus 100. We're not seeing a whole lot of difference there. Okay, but this is just something that I think makes it look a lot nicer. Go to about 25 here. We say okay. Go to yellows. Adjustments and selective color and yellows, and drop cyan down, and then we go into let's lift magentas just a hair here. It's very subtle what this is doing. Image adjustments and selective color. And we're going to go to cyan and drop the yellows. And let's change this around. Now what this is going to do is it's kind of going to manipulate the blue. You can see it right in here, up in here, and right over in here. And this will kind of make it either more of a turquoise or more of a blue color when we do that. And for this one, I'm kind of liking something a little more subtle. Maybe something like that. All right, let's say that that's it. We say okay. All right, we couldn't use noise reduction on this. That was the thing that was missing. Let's try it one more time with this selected. Possibly I can use it. Okay. Now it's going to give us noise reduction, which is wonderful because we do have quite a bit of noise in this picture. And Topaz Denoise AI is just a wonderful tool. We go to severe noise and back all these. I always put them all the way over. Now look what this does. If you look closely, you see all this graininess right in here, little spotty, sort of spotty, pixelated looking stuff. Now watch this, how it just makes it completely go away. So we're going to do that. We're going to remove not quite all of the noise. Let's go to about 70%, and let's see what that does. Let's apply it. Does its thing up here. And that looks pretty good to me. It looks soft without being too crunched. All right, I think we're done with this file. We save as. This is our finished product, so we're just going to say finish. Okay. Of course, we save it in TIFF format. We're going to come back in here now and do the comparison with our work here. Open. Here's our finish. Open. All right. So now here was our frame before we started the Photoshop, and here's after we started the Photoshop. Quite remarkable. That comparison is just really enormous. I mean, both of them are okay. This certainly has more appeal than this one. So let's throw this one away in our little cubby hole over here. Let's pull this back up and see what we got. All right, we're ready to put the stars in. Let's go into we'll go to open now. We can see if we can find the stars that we stretched. Here we go. This is stretch. Blue stars, stretch. Green, red. That's what we're looking for, all four. All right, here they are, our stars that we worked on. Now we are going to combine these as we do any color image. These are in grayscale right now. So let's iconize this down and put them in their place here. This is our loom. And take care to get them in the right place. Green, blue, and done. We'll hit this and get our first star color image. All right. Let's take a look at this, see what we got here. Move this stuff out of the way here for just a moment. Kind of do a little housekeeping here. This is our LRGB finish. Okay, these are our stars that were grayscale. Let's move them over here out of the way. And let's take a look at this color image. Nice. You get some sort of the airy discs have been reserved and preserved, as you can see. So we don't really have just a dot. Although some of these have a little noise there in the center of the stars. You can see that, and we can get rid of those. Maybe here would be a good idea to do that. So what we're going to do, let's go ahead and save this off. We'll call it LRGB stars. All right, and we'll just say, let's say 1. Save that. 16 bits. We're going to go back into Photoshop, because what we need to do with this is to remove some of those smaller stars, like these in here that look like they have the weird little circles. Unless you zoom in, you can't see it. But let's go to Filter and Noise and Dust and Scratches. Now this is pretty cool. We can see here's 0, and watch what happens to the stars in the background as I keep increasing this. Look right in this picture. And you see how the smaller ones are just going away. You see that? Until we basically have no stars. Now we don't want to go that high. So let's head back to maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 5. Somewhere between 4 and 5, I think the truth lies. I kind of like 5, but I kind of like the stars as well. We don't want to eliminate all our stars. Yeah, let's try. It's a big decision. Decisions. You know, 3 is, there's 43, we don't want that. 3 and 2, you can see how we're really gaining stars as we go up from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the difference between 4 and 5, let's look at that one more time. Yeah, I kind of think I like, that looks like too few stars to me, so we're going to go with 4. That's a big choice. Let's try one more. I think I'd be sorry if I didn't go with that one. Let's try 5. We say okay. All right. Let's head back into Pixinsight. Let's open this one up. And actually, we need to save that. File, Save As. And we're going to save it as Final. Stars 1 Final. Back into Pixinsight. And we're going to now open, File, Open, Final. Right there. Final. We'll compare it to what we had. Let's see how they compare here. See if I can kind of go into a spot here and look at these together. Yeah, see how now this was our original image. We had the little stars with the wonky little, see the wonky little pixelations going on right there. But we got nice big stars here. The larger ones are better. So the idea was to reduce this. And you see how we've done that over here. So now we have less prominent stars. I think in general, I think we're good. Let's look at this whole thing one more time to decide which one we really want. It's all about decisions to make the best image you possibly can. It's quite time consuming. I guess those people who don't like detail would certainly not like to do this work. Alright, so let's look right in here. You see, take a little swath right in there. I do believe, let's look someplace like right in here. Like that. Let's kind of compare this together if we can. Yeah, that's a good comparison. Yeah, this one looks a little emptier than this, but that'll make the nebula show up better. So let's choose this one. That's the one we worked on. Let's go ahead and eliminate this. Choices. Okay. So now we have our final stars, color stars, and we have our final color nebula. And let's combine these together using Pixel Math. There's several ways to do this, but I found this seems to work best for me. We do expression editor, look up our images. One of them is finish, LRGB1 finish. Let's look for that. Right there, LRGB1 finish. Okay, so we hit double click, then we go to the plus sign with shift and the equal sign to give our plus on our keyboard, and we're going to go up here and get our LRGB stars 1 final right there. Double click. All right, we say OK. And what I've found here that works best is to deliver this into this. Okay, so we pull it right into this and see what we get. Not too bad. The stars do still have some disc look to them. Maybe not the best ones I've ever seen. They do look a little blown out with the, it looks like the loom was a little bright in our combination. It's certainly not a bad looking image. All right, let's crop this. And we hit this, lights the whole thing up. Now let's be very careful. We see this very pinkish looking line. We of course want to get our little handle to the left like that and pull it right across there. See that right across, but we're not going to waste too much of the image, just barely across. Little handle at the top, pull it down again, don't waste the image, something like that. We can move this over, and now let's go over here and do the same thing, handle to the right just a little bit, and the bottom almost looks like we shouldn't move it at all. So let's just kind of keep that right in there. And now the important thing here we want to do is to pull this process out right there. Bam, process. Close the tool. Say yes. Now we're going to come over here and drop it and crop it. Drop and crop. All right. Let's see what we have here. Let's close everything else down. Take away the confusion here of the image. Let's take a final look at it. Hey, the stars look a little bit blown out, not quite as colorful as I like them to look. Again, that was because the loom was too intense. We could go back and, take a look at this and, decide to do something different there. The stars actually look nice here in this color picture, and they kind of got blown out, you see, as we added them in. See, if you look right in here, say these 3 stars right here, you look at them here, they're a lot more colorful here. See that? Where in here they are not as colorful. But I'm gonna leave it alone. Okay, this is another end of a video. Thanks for watching. Clear skies.